What in the world did we just witness?
Roman Reigns made an earth-shattering appearance on Monday Night Raw, and the entire WWE landscape may never be the same. Out of nowhere, the tribal chief stormed the show, not alone, but with a dark, mysterious masked enforcer by his side, and their mission was crystal clear: take out Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman's newly formed superfaction. This is the kind of twist that sends shockwaves through the entire wrestling universe. And if you thought the betrayal of Paul Heyman was the peak of the drama, think again. Roman Reigns just fired back with a vengeance that no one saw coming.
Let's rewind.
Recently, Paul Heyman did the unthinkable. He turned his back on Roman Reigns. After years of loyalty and manipulation, he defected and aligned himself with a terrifying new alliance featuring Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker, and Bronson Reed. With Seth as Mr. Money in the Bank, Braun bringing unstoppable brute force, and Bronson delivering sheer power, Heyman believed he had constructed an untouchable empire. They were set to dominate Raw, SmackDown, and everything in between. But Roman Reigns had other plans, and last night, he executed them flawlessly. As the lights dimmed and the tension in the arena built to a fever pitch, Reigns made his entrance. The crowd was already in a frenzy, but then it happened. A new, eerie theme blared through the arena speakers, and a masked figure emerged in full tactical black gear, echoing the days of the Shield, but this time cloaked in secrecy and danger.
The atmosphere froze in an instant. Who was this new presence flanking Roman?
Was this a resurrection of the Shield or something far more dangerous? Seth Rollins, usually confident and composed, suddenly looked shaken.
Paul Heyman's smug grin was wiped clean. Chaos exploded in the ring.
The masked man charged forward, brutally spearing Braun Breaker to the mat with ruthless force. Bronson Reed attempted to intervene, but was quickly destroyed by a thunderous powerbomb that left him unconscious. Seth tried to retreat, but Roman wasn't about to let him escape that easily. He grabbed Rollins and held him steady as the masked man unleashed a devastating stomp that echoed through the ring.
The crowd was stunned.
This wasn't just a beatdown, it was a statement. As Paul Heyman shrieked from ringside, the masked man slowly removed his hood, and in that moment, jaws dropped across the WWE universe. This wasn't just an alliance, it was the beginning of a revolution. Roman Reigns had reconstructed his power base, but this time, it wasn't about loyalty or legacy.
This was personal. This was war.
The rebirth of the Shield had taken a darker turn, one driven by revenge, betrayal, and dominance.
But the questions don't stop there. Who is this mysterious enforcer standing beside Roman Reigns?
Is it a returning legend from WWE's past? Or a dangerous new figure sent to rewrite the rules of power within the company?
Speculation is running wild.
Fans are throwing out names, theories, and wild guesses, but one thing is clear. Whoever this man is, he's a game changer. And let's not overlook the most glaring silence in this story. Where is Solo Sikoa? The Bloodline's loyal warrior has yet to make his move. Is he watching and waiting in the shadows? Is he ready to step into this war, or could he become the next target in Roman's path to total domination? Roman Reigns just turned the entire WWE roster upside down with this surprise attack. Seth Rollins may hold the Money in the Bank contract, but he's now looking over his shoulder. Heyman's unbeatable faction has been rattled to its core. The battle lines are drawn, and the war has officially begun. Whatever happens next, you don't want to miss a second of it. So make sure you're locked in, smash that subscribe button, turn on those notifications, and drop your guesses in the comments. Who is the masked man standing with Roman Reigns? Is he a former Shield brother, a returning monster, or a brand new threat with vengeance in his veins? Get ready, because this is just the beginning, and the fire has only started to burn. Something absolutely earth-shattering just unfolded on WWE Raw, and fans across the globe are still trying to process what they witnessed. Roman Reigns, the self-proclaimed tribal chief and one of the most dominant forces in professional wrestling history, just made a jaw-dropping return to Monday Night Raw, and he wasn't alone. Flanked by a dark, imposing, and completely mysterious masked enforcer, Reigns charged onto the scene with vengeance burning in his eyes and war in his heart.
His target?
None other than the newly formed superfaction led by none other than Paul Heyman, his former advisor and longtime confidant, now shockingly turned enemy. For weeks, the WWE Universe has been buzzing about Paul Heyman's betrayal. The man who once proudly stood at Roman's side, who orchestrated countless victories, and who helped engineer the dominance of the Bloodline, turned his back on Roman Reigns in the most brutal fashion. Aligning himself with Seth Rollins, who now holds the Money in the Bank contract, As well as the ferocious young beast Braun Breaker and the raw, intimidating power of Bronson Reed, Heyman seemed to have assembled a dream team of destruction. Together, they appeared unstoppable, ready to run the WWE with an iron grip. Many fans and analysts alike believed Roman Reigns had finally been outmaneuvered, outnumbered, and outsmarted.
But Roman Reigns is not the kind of man who allows betrayal to go unpunished.
On the latest episode of Raw, the arena was pulsing with anticipation from the very start. The lights suddenly dimmed. A heavy silence swept over the crowd as confusion spread. Then, the unmistakable sound of Roman Reigns' entrance theme shook the arena. The tribal chief emerged with his signature stoic expression, but something was different. Behind him followed a towering, masked figure cloaked entirely in black, dressed in tactical gear reminiscent of the days when the Shield dominated WWE.
The moment was chilling. Gasps and stunned whispers echoed through the crowd. Who was this masked figure? Why was he here?
And what did this mean for Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman? Roman walked to the ring with fire in his eyes. The crowd was split between cheers and sheer disbelief. Then, without a word, all hell broke loose. Braun Breaker charged forward, ready to defend his new family, but he never stood a chance. The masked enforcer struck with lightning speed, unleashing a thunderous spear that nearly split Braun in half.
The ring shook from the impact as Braun lay motionless on the mat.
Bronson Reed stepped in next, looking to overpower the mystery man, but his strength meant nothing. One devastating powerbomb later, and Bronson was laid out flat. Just like that, Heyman's monsters were down, incapacitated before they could even mount a proper defense. Seth Rollins, sensing the tide had turned, attempted to flee the ring, but Roman Reigns caught him in his tracks. With one arm, Roman grabbed him, locking him in place as the masked enforcer stepped forward again. The next moment was pure carnage, a brutal stomp delivered directly to Seth Rollins' skull, a move so ruthless and violent that the entire crowd recoiled. Paul Heyman, witnessing the carnage from ringside, looked on in horror.
His face twisted in disbelief and fear. This was not a mere attack.
As the crowd buzzed with uncertainty and suspense, the masked man slowly reached up, gripping the edges of his hood.
With deliberate movement, he pulled it back to reveal his identity. What followed?